church services, that can cause us to focus more on a building, more on a facility as God's main goal. And yes, we know God's concerned about where we're going to meet, right? All of those things he's concerned with and he knows, and he's come through for us by providing a new school for us to start meeting next week. But we need to remember this, whether we're meeting in a public school like Anastasia or Canterbury School, whether we're meeting in a private school like Seashore, whether we're meeting online or in people's homes or maybe one day in our own building, we need to remember that the ecclesia is a movement. It's not a location, right? So if we start to get off track, here's how we fix it. Step one, we have to realign to the builder's design. I don't know what is going on in your own life. Maybe you're viewing the church as a location, right? But problems happen in our lives when things are out of alignment, right? Isn't that true in your physical body? Pastor Tim talked about it a couple weeks ago, going to the chiropractor on a regular basis. I've had chronic back issues for like the last 15, 20 years, and I go to the chiropractor all the time. And when your spine is out of alignment, all other kinds of things happen in your body, right? If any of your systems are out of alignment, problems happen. Think about your car, right? Some of you don't even understand the alignment of your car, but when your car's alignment is out, all kinds of things don't work, right? It doesn't drive straight and your tires wear out too early, right? When your family's out of alignment, things start to go sideways, and when your spiritual life is out of alignment, you open yourself up to all sorts of problems. And in the next few verses of Acts chapter 2, they give us the builder's design for the ecclesia. I mean, right after this, and you've heard us preach on these verses before, Acts chapter 2, starting in verse 42. Immediately after these 3,000 people responded and repented and were baptized, it says this: all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing of meals and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. All the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property, their possessions. They shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day. They met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and they shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day, check this out, each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. Notice it doesn't say that they collected their money and they bought a nice piece of property and began the process of erecting a church building. It doesn't say that. They were doing a lot of things, right? But they were not focused on facility or building, right? They met together in homes, at the synagogue. They worshiped, they prayed, they took care of each other's needs. They ate together, they heard good teaching, they experienced miracles, and the movement of people grew every day. There's nothing in there about a location. There's nothing in there about worrying about a building. And sometimes it's easy to lose focus on why we're here. We can start thinking that the church is somewhere we go to, right? That our church is something that we do. But we need to remember, guys, the builder's original design, that church is not where we go or what we do. The church is who we are. The ecclesia, it's who we are. It's who we are as a gathering of people. And my goal is not to go to church, but to be the church. And it's a living, moving congregation that crosses every part of the globe, across every generation. Here's a second step to getting it right. After we realign to the builder's design, we need to replace broken parts with original manufacturer's parts, right? I mean, I've been working on my motorcycle and my car, my truck lately, and Zoe's car, so I'm kind of like, as I was writing this, I was thinking about parts, right? The things that we buy to fix our car. And the truth is, in just 300 to 400 years after the ecclesia was born in Jerusalem, things were terribly out of alignment for the church, because man had replaced the parts of the church with modified aftermarket parts, right? And I was working on my motorcycle this last couple of weeks. I've had some problems. I have an older motorcycle, and after doing some research, I discovered that maybe there might be a problem with the fuel system with this part. This part, I don't know if you can see this online, guys, but this is called a petcock. It's basically a fuel valve. It turns the gas on or off, and this is a little filter that keeps garbage from getting in your gas tank. And I came to discover that maybe that was shot. It's 22 years old. Maybe it's time to replace that. And so I went to an aftermarket company, and I ordered a shiny new petcock. This is the new one, right? So shiny and nice. It looks so brand new with a new filter, and I was all excited when I got it, only to discover when I went to put it on, it's slightly different from the original manufacturer's part. As nice as it is, it's slightly different. See, the one that comes from the manufacturer has another valve on the back of it. It's called a vacuum valve. And As I went to install this new one, the new one doesn't have that valve. And so, of course, I went to the internet. I said, well, can I use this? And some people said, oh, yeah, you just have to modify other parts of the motor to make this thing work. And you know what I decided, guys? I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the dealership, and I'm going to order the original manufacturer's part because I'm not smart enough to modify all kinds of stuff on my motorcycle. I'm going to order the exact same part, the original manufacturer's part from the dealer, right? This one, no matter how shiny it looks and new and the filter looks nice and clean, right? Most likely it will take me off track from the original design of how Harley-Davidson built my motorcycle and how it's supposed to run. Listen, when God set up the church in the book of Acts, he gave it all original components. It was brand new, right? The day of Pentecost happened. Peter gets up there. He preaches the message. He does exactly what the church is supposed to do. You're going to be my witnesses. He tells everybody they need to repent. They need to get it right. Everybody's convicted. 3,000 people pray. They get baptized. And immediately the church is launched. And what are they doing? Worship. They're getting good teaching. They're doing outreach. They're having community with each other. And they're serving one another. But over time, mankind began to substitute the original parts for different things.